Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good day, good afternoon, basically, wherever you are in the world. With this lighting, I look like a zombie. While everyone is settling in, I'll remember those who are connected of the Siddhis so far in the process of the Hachit. Asti Majja, bone marrow, Snayu, the ligaments and tendons, Lasika Pesel, the muscles, Chitta Samhati, the nervous system, Koshta, the inner organs, Indriya, the outer organs and the senses. This is what we're learning today. The outer organs and the senses. Breathe. Be softly happy by choice. Sometimes we are happy by choice and not by circumstance. Be happy by choice. Let's start with some mythology, Hindu mythology. So Brahma, Indra and Agni are the lords of their dominion. Brahma is the God, the only one that is actually worthy of being called God. There is Vishnu and Shiva, but they're part of the Godhead. Basically, Brahma in its various expressions. Parabrahma is beyond Brahma. There's the divine world of the origin of things, universal, global, universal and macrocosmic scale. And that's the Godhead, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. So Brahma is the Lord. Brahma is the creator. Then from the world of oneness and all things equal and unified, separation happens. An individual pop. This is the world of soul. This is where the many gods are born, where many different forces have dominion over each their own responsibility, purpose, symbol. Okay. And Indra is the god of all gods. Indra is the king of all that is below Brahma. Okay, and that is Indra. So it's the world of the soul. So there's the divine world and there's the soul world. Denser than the soul world, all these individuals densified to go through nature. So the mind, then the body, and the earth itself. Okay, so thoughts, emotions, electricity and energy, and then mass. So this is nature. And Agni means fire, is known as the most powerful force in nature, and the one closest to being a soul, because it's there but it's not there. You can't touch it, but you feel it if you do. It has no body, but it is physical. It's fire. So Agni is the Lord of nature, okay, of actual physical phenomena. Okay, and Agni is that Lord through science today, because it's the passage between matter and another type of matter, burning, or from matter to gas to another level, or from matter to energy, and from energy to matter. So you can put fire on an object, or an object can be on fire and become energy. Okay, so the the God of transition, of state. Okay. Today's Siddhi is Indriya, the senses. In the Hindu mythology, Indra, as the king of all gods, so lightning, thunder, streams, mountains, wind, so the minor gods, which is the various forces, spiritual and physical, okay, the natural. So Indra was the king, the manager of all of this. Indra was known for enjoying women, alcohol, food of high quality, always going for emancipation and discovery of nature. And he was frowned upon for his hedonistic ways, for his abuses. Okay, so that's mythology. What does it mean? The world of the soul wants to embrace what nature has, and it does that through the senses. Okay, so in Sanskrit, the senses of sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch, and the others, the mysterious ones, it's called Indraya. So Indra's relationships. Okay? The Siddhi for today is Indriya, which means the external organs of sense and enjoyment. Okay. So the nose, the eyes, the ears, the tongue. The skin is next week's Siddhi, but the sense of touch is in the skin. Okay? So specifically, the experience of touch is part of Indriya, although the organ of skin, well, actually any membrane and container is next week. Okay, it's the last one. Like all that contains everything of that. So Indriya is all the senses and the perception. It's important to understand that perception happens through the body, but in the mind also. Okay? Indriya is the external organs and its experience. It is the intention of Indra. The intention of God Indra is for the world of soul to embody and have access to the manifest world. Okay? Indriya. The senses become refined. So, the same way when we say koshta, we don't focus specifically on one organ. It's just the organs inside, everything inside. With Indriya, we don't focus specifically on one sense. It's just all the senses. Now I want to speak to you about the mysterious senses. Someone who is born without sight will develop more hearing and touch, maybe smell. Someone born without hearing will develop sight and touch, probably. In the sense that someone who cannot hear rely on the feeling of vibrations around them. So someone is walking towards them from behind. If the floor is made of wood, it has a tiny flexibility that transmits vibration. And that deaf person will feel you. Okay? Now, a rare experiment, but something that happened. Someone who was born blind and deaf, cannot see and cannot hear, and their world is eternal darkness, but they have an extraordinary sense of touch, and they actually feel vibration in the air. And they exist in the world of like a radar. These people, of course, cannot function in society, or they would not function in the jungle either. But because we keep alive everyone in our society, we were able to notice that they have other senses that transcends feeling vibration with the skin. Okay? So the senses of intuition, not premonition future, but premonition present. You know, so it's like a strong intuition. And what's going on in the present moment. Okay? So the sixth sense, which is not necessarily clairvoyance, but could be, which is to pay attention to the ether and the other planes. From the level of the mind, we pay attention to what happens on the other levels as the physical level. And we feel if grandma is about to call, or if grandma is about to die. We feel these things. So it's not revelation from the holy level, from the divine plane. It's revelation still in nature. And it is perception in a sense. Okay? So Indriya is all the senses. It is the intention of Indra. So from the soul to nature, anything that can be perceived. Of course, Indriya, the Siddhi, will make your senses better, but it's not an objective. It is to make your senses healthier. And then perception is better as a result. Will it bring back your bad eyesight? I know two people in this lifetime who have bettered their perception, their eyes. I only know two, personally, with spiritual practice. And that's mostly because they persisted and did it consistently. And they combined with physical exercise. of sight. So I'm not a doctor and I cannot make promises. But there are thousands who want to know how to better their eyesight, and there's only 2 that I know who actually got better. However, I have good perception, and I've been practicing Indriya, the A version, a lot in the past. And Indriya is the one of this system. So now I've practiced this week Indriya a bit. And we're going to do Indriya, the intention of Indra, and focus on the organs of the senses. Skin in the sense of touch. The link with the nervous system, the Chitta Samhati. Indriya, the senses. A side effect is that you'll be a bit more sensitive in various ways to perception, but also to irritation of the senses. I have fibromyalgia. I rarely have a crisis because I've used spiritual practice and supernatural abilities to dominate the symptoms. But fibromyalgia is still in my genetic code. So sometimes it flares, it comes up. As opposed to most are permanently in a state of fibromyalgia when they have it, or almost permanently. So sometimes the perception of the sixth sense, useful for empaths, it becomes aggravating. It's too much. When going in a shopping center means feeling all that they are keeping on the surface. It is the anxiety, the stress. I choose my moments when people are just so happy to be at a shopping center. I go when it rains. Everyone is happy the shopping center is open when it rains. So it's sharing those moments with them. Going Friday night after a long week of work and they have to buy something to eat for the weekend and they're stressed and there was traffic. Oh, I don't go there. Because I live what they've carried from the week of work. So I choose my moments. I try to. Sometimes it's Friday night and I need to go get something to eat for the weekend. You know, me. But otherwise, it's like that. So your physical senses would get better with this. Well, mostly healthier and then could get better. A better sense of smell is wonderful if you don't judge what you smell. Food tastes better. A better sense of hearing makes you lower the volume of everything. You're on your telephone, your mobile device, and someone calls you, lower the phone. My God, every sound that comes out is irritating. Okay? Just for a short time. Just while you're adapting. Because everything becomes richer. Okay? I like it because there's more fun. Indra enjoys more nature when he has the organs to embrace it. And that means our soul rejoices of the manifest world with Indriya. Okay? The goal of the organs, the intention of the senses was that discovery. Indriya. 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 You don't have to remember all the Siddhis of the process. From the deepest and deepest core, the thing inside the thing, bone marrow, Ashti Maja. Asti Maja. Asti Maja. The tendon and ligaments that link them all and transfer forces. Snayu. Everything that binds and glues together everything else. Snayu. And the muscles that transfer that force that is flexible. Lasika pesel. Lasika pesel. Lasika pesel. And all the nerves that brings this relationship with the brain, which will keep the relationship with every other part of the body. Chitta samhati. Chitta samhati. Chitta samhati, the nervous system. The organs inside Koshta. 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 The organs outside Indriya. 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 The senses. Indriya. The intention of the soul in nature. Indriya. All 6 senses. Indriya. And the joy of tasting and smelling and seeing and all the other senses. I spoke about this a few weeks ago in the Chitta Samhati. If your soul is very evolved, but it doesn't have access to nature, it doesn't have access to nature. So if your Chitta Samhati, your nervous system, is decaying, you might be evolved, but it starts to be hard for the wisdom to flow. And then genetics take over. If your Indriya are weak, it becomes hard for the soul to transmigrate in the body. It becomes hard for the soul to stay attached and linked and incarnate. So Indriya has another side effect, which is help incarnation. It gives you the ability to focus on mass down to the vital plane. You need the Garima practice if you want to focus on mass on the actual physical plane. This is another class. But Indriya will get you embodied. Because with these senses, the 6 of them, you can feel nature. And that is a beautiful thing. Now, the judgments you have towards nature, the judgments you have with what goes on in the jungle, that's another thing. Nature, just as it is a taste of fruit and the smell of flower and the juice of meat in your mouth and the act of killing it so you could cook it. And yeah, life and death and all that goes with it. You thought I was going to be hippie. I used to look at the rainbows and the butterflies and the flowers and the fruits and then meat, which means something kills something and death and decay and, bacteria sets in. And we love those bacteria in our intestine that support digestion. And some of those bacteria, well, they're fighting to survive, and it means they're trying to eat us. And so we need to fight it. And the eternal wheel of karma in our body constantly. Bone marrow, strong system, Ashti Maja. Keep a positive mind. Okay. It was a fun class, Indriya. I felt poetic a bit today. I'm so No, I'm not so. So is too dramatic today. I am simply joyful. Indriya for me is the joy that the soul has of experiencing everything in mass, in nature, in the world. I love it. When you become very sensitive, every breath is like softly making love to the body. The soul makes love to the body through every breath. But it's not explosive orgasm, it's just a slow movement. There's romance in there for me. It is non-sexual, but it is romantic. Hey, it could be sexual, whatever turns you on. It's affectionate. Yeah, it's affectionate. The soul, it can move through the body with a breath. The transmigration. And that is the power of Indriya. It is wonderful. Incarnate. Rejoice. And for the personal growth aspect, don't judge what you perceive. When it hurts, resolve it. Be just and be prudent in your daily life. See you next week.